So the challenge really here is, as you can see from this cartoon, we have the CEO inviting our unsuspecting global leader to enter into a new global leadership role. And I think what we'd like to focus on in the session here is the challenge of making tough decisions where there may be very different cultural beliefs about how those decisions should be made and what the right kind of decision should be, and how particularly how to implement that decision in very different cultural context. He's on the plane, he's flying to Mumbai, and by the time he gets to Mumbai, he's going to have to make a decision. Now, Jose wants to promote initiative, proactivity in the organization. That's part of his KPI. On the other hand, he feels uncomfortable with the way things have been handled in this particular case. So that's the situation, practical situation, that could be facing somebody in a global leadership position, in this case as a project manager in a multi-country project.
What are the perspectives you need to consider and the steps you need to take before finally making the decision and communicating it?
And the basic dilemma here that most global leaders face is, how do we remain ourselves? How do we remain authentic, centered in our own values and beliefs, but at the same time, how can we manage to adapt to others and to local contexts and the local situation?
I think we do need to think about what our instincts tell us, but then very quickly we need to move on to point two. What are the different perspectives that we must consider in making the right decision, and think about what is the potential outcome of making each of those decisions. And this ability to reflect, of course, is very important to leadership. Decision making is not purely a lonely process by leaders on aeroplanes. The first step of sense making for Jose as he sits on a plane is to imagine the consequences of any decision he decides to take from four perspectives. The first perspective is an individual perspective, and the question is, can I live with the decision that I take? If I fire Roshan, how am I going to handle that, deal with that? Is it in line with my own values? It's about how do we engage with others in making and implementing decisions? And he gives us some ideas about this, which I think are very relevant to Jose. One of my coaching clients experienced the same situation. He was with a young talent who paid a bribe, and his decision surprised me because he decided to fire Roshan.
So, in conclusion here, global leaders, they're not born. We don't believe that they're born, but they can become global leaders. The kind of questions that we are suggesting here can help people to think through decisions. But thinking through decisions is not enough. We need to move from thinking about making decisions to also engaging and relating around decision making with our local counterparts.